Hi guys, welcome back to our little stream. Today we have a really exciting game. It's our first time of playoffs for Rainbow Six Siege. We're playing University of Kentucky. But first, I have the honor of welcoming Lisa Victoriavich to our podcast today. So if you want to say hi,
Hi.
welcome.
Camera's over there. Ah, there we
Yes.
go. Hi.
So you're the dean of our College of Business and Economics. If you guys didn't know, she's been here just a couple years. I saw on your LinkedIn.
Yes.
Do you want to give us a short explanation of what you do here as our dean of College of
Yes.
Business?
So I have the pleasure, I would say I'm the CEO of the College of Business and Economics. And so that really means the first thing that is most important to us is our students. So supporting our students, recruiting our students, getting them here, making sure they're successful while they're here, and then of course setting them up for success when they leave. So that is our number one priority. Certainly overseeing our faculty, our staff, making sure that our faculty are supported and then they have the ability to support our students. I'm thinking big level strategic priority, strategic plan. That's been something that we've working on, ensuring that we meet our accreditation standards, as we are accredited by the AACSB. Fundraising is also another big piece, and then just ensuring our curriculum is up to snuff, and preparing our students.
That's awesome. Yeah, I did a little bit of digging and I saw a lot of that expertise listed under you for strategic planning
Yeah,
and fundraising and all
excellent.
that. Super awesome. I understand before you're at U Idaho, because you've only been here 2 years, two and a
Yep,
half
my
years.
third academic year. Yep, so about
Awesome.
yep, 2.5 years.
Yeah, that you were at the University of Denver.
I
And
was,
I saw a couple
yes.
different roles. So what did you do at Denver?
Yeah. So I started at the University of Denver. That was the first post of mine out of the PhD program. And so I was initially an accounting professor. And so
Okay.
I taught accounting for probably a good 13 years while I was there.
Wow.
Auditing was my favorite class to teach. And after I became a tenured professor, I was invited into an administrative role. And so my first administrative role was associate dean over our undergraduate program.
Okay.
And so that means that I oversaw our Bachelor of Science in Business program and that student experience team, all the advisors, making sure that our students had our undergraduate students specifically had a great experience. And then I tend to like new challenges. And so
Hmm.
somebody had thought the idea of maybe we could launch an executive PhD in business program. And so even though my job was over undergraduates, I ran with the idea
Uh-huh.
and I did some research. I got faculty together and we launched the second executive PhD program in business in the
Wow.
country. And
Wow.
so it's a little bit different than a traditional PhD program. Traditional programs, you usually go to school full time, quit your job, right? It's a
Right.
5 year process. This was a program where people could work and also get a PhD at the same time.
That's amazing.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then it became time where the senior associate dean moved on, and I was in the standing to take on that role. And so my last 3 years there, I was over faculty research and accreditation. So very similar to my role now, minus the external fundraising piece of it.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I was kind of
Yeah,
fangirling
yeah, yeah,
before Lisa came on because I saw
yeah.
the like, I guess informally like big dog roles, and I was like, that's just awesome to see like somebody
It's
like
awesome.
me. I mean, I'm not in business, but I'm PR, and I want to like be on head of firms, and I want to spearhead projects. So
Project.
that
So
was really exciting. And then before Denver, so you've kind of been around. I saw Florida,
Florida,
all
yes.
all of the undergrad, masters, PhD. Are you
Yes.
from Florida?
I spent the first 10 years of my life in the mountains of Colorado, which is why I love to ski in the outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started fifth grade in South Florida. And so I went middle school, high school in Florida, and then went up to Florida State to get
Wow.
my undergraduate and my master's in accounting. I'm not very diverse. And then I worked for 2 years at Ernst & Young in public accounting. I knew probably when I started that career that my passion was in education. I was a TA when I got my master's degree. So it was very natural for me to go back to college and get my PhD.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Florida State, so I didn't do a lot of research in where I could get a PhD, but I went back to Florida State and spent 5 years there doing that, and it was a great time.
Awesome. Florida State. I have one friend that runs track there. So I know
Yes.
very little bit. I haven't been that far, but Florida State, great athletics. So you've been the
Yes.
dean here, and like, I mean, you've just been everywhere and had these like great positions. What qualities or like, what do you think is essential for students like me or students in business that like want to spearhead these projects and be at the top? Like, what qualities you look for in people like
I
us?
think, first is grit and hard work. So just spending time, even when I was in college, if I had to do homework on the weekends, I spent time doing homework.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely working hard. Two, I would say taking opportunities that become available to you. And so I became a leader, an administrative leader within the university younger than I
Hmm.
think most folks, and that was because when I was given an opportunity to serve on a committee, I showed up to the committee, I was all in, I contributed, and so that helped me stand out from my peers. And so even though I almost turned down some of those opportunities because I was so busy, but looking back, accepting them and embracing them.
Hmm.
So hard work, accepting opportunities, I think that just being really the two most important things.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I know we hear that, but yeah, I'm glad you
Yes.
say like the just accepting the opportunities even when you feel busy. Because I mean, I have an internship in athletic media. I have an internship in Idaho
Oh,
Eats, and now I also do this in the evenings. And um, I'm looking at the HIRC for sports coordination, and it sounds like a lot, but I like these are things I want to take on. So it kind of really reassuring that you say that and to hear you say that.
yes.
Um, and like so, with all these different perspectives, like what did Denver and FSU experience give you that you could bring to Idaho?
So I think, Florida State was a large public university, and
Mhm.
so I reflect back on my time there as an undergraduate, and I see that a lot of the opportunities that we give our students here at University of Idaho, I didn't have as an undergrad. And so I try to think about what was lacking as an undergrad and how can I fill those gaps and bring them here. And then
Mhm.
the University of Denver was quite the opposite of Florida State University. It was about the same size as the University of Idaho, but it was private
Okay.
and it had a lot of resources. So the class sizes were very small. And again, it had its own undergraduate career unit, it had its own academic advisors. And so I've learned a lot of what it was done at the University of Denver that we could possibly replicate here at the University of Idaho. So bringing professional development into the classroom, and we've got some new required courses that are coming out for all of our first year students. So all first year students, actually I scratched that, second year students, they'll get an Excel certification, the associate's Excel
Wow.
certification. They'll take a 1 credit hour career readiness class, and they'll also take a 1 credit hour professionalism class. So just
Wow. Yeah,
building up.
I was excited to talk to you. My roommate's a business
Yeah.
major, and I
Yeah.
I don't get to hear a whole lot from her because I mean we're both still young, but she just declared business management. But
Yes.
so I was like really excited to ask some questions because I wanted to take a little bit
That
home
a,
for to her
right.
too. Um, so from a business dean's perspective, do you think esports is like important space for university to invest in? I understood it was your first time down in the lab, but a little bit you might know about
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. I mean, I know that there was some interest in starting up a certificate and possibly partnering with the College of Business.
Hmm.
And so I think that it's a great opportunity, not just for the students to connect, but I'm seeing here there's a lot of experiential learning going on,
Yeah,
right? Right. This
we can sit
interview
down
is,
and I have this opportunity.
100% experiential
Hmm.
learning. And so I think it's absolutely,
Yeah. I was excited to ask you a question because I mean, Wayne, our director, is an accountant and is
yes.
studying accounting. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be perfect. Um, kind of transitioning to esports. Were you ever into gaming, or like, do you have children that game, or is there something that we might be surprised to know about our dean of College of
Yeah.
Business?
So I had the Atari, right, going back to
Okay.
the 80s. And so when Atari came out, I remember it was like Jungle Hunt. And then
Yeah.
I remember the joysticks got old and we would take the rubber off the joysticks. So I did play that. And then I was in the 80s when the Apple computer came out. And so
Okay.
that superseded the Atari. And so I remember playing winter games and this game Lemonade. It was like this lemonade stand. So I did do that. And then I eventually got the first Nintendo, but I never made it
Yeah.
past
Right.
I never made it that Mario Brothers, right, was the best game. That's probably why I got the first Nintendo, but I never got to complete it. I
Hmm.
would get to that like final dragon, but I could never get past that final dragon.
Right. Yeah. We had Spencer Martin on from band in here, and he
Yes.
like went all the way back to like the 80s, and then like through all the PlayStation. And I don't play games. I'm more of a
Yes.
mobile player. I've just kind of this is new to me. But it was so funny that everybody that
Yes.
we've had on here is like Atari or
Yeah.
Pac-Man or
Yes.
oh gosh, just those older games. Oh,
Little
that's
games.
ancient to me, which is so funny. But not even knowing games, but it's super funny. Um, but yeah, I'm like a little lost in my notes. I'm going back to just like giving students advice. Like I understand there's a lot of competition in the business field, and like I mean,
Yes.
you climbed your way to the top at different universities. Like, what would you say to those people? Like even in esports or maybe business, just about like working your way and like, I did you have any like big roadblocks or anything that
Yeah.
like?
Yeah. I guess I'll kind of use the example of becoming a dean. And so
Mhm.
that was a long process. There are obviously more people who want to become a dean at a prestigious institution than there are openings. And as I had mentioned, I was a little bit young in my role. I'm also a female, and so I
Right.
don't fit the bill of a business school dean. And so I had a lot of interviews, a lot of, you have the first round where you put your resume and your cover letter in, and then you would go to second round where you would get the Zoom interview, and then the third interview is the campus visit. And I would say I probably applied to 20 different dean jobs with the first round for right first round, and then of those I probably made it to half to get the second round where you did the Zoom interview. And then campus visits, I had 4 campus visits before I finally landed a position that I wanted
Hmm.
and accepted that. And so,
So
yeah.
when you were looking into Idaho, like when you wanted to leave University of Denver, was what were you looking for? Like, what brought you to Moscow? What
Let's go.
about Idaho enticed
Uh,
you?
so definitely I wanted to go to a university that had a good reputation. So
Hmm.
U of I is the land grant flagship institution, so that intrigued me. I also like the outdoors. I like to ski, and so
Hmm.
Idaho is a beautiful state, and so that was something that also attracted me. So those were that, and then during the interview process, meeting the faculty, meeting Provost Lawrence, President Green, right,
Yeah.
who you report to is also really important. And so that was something else that attracted me to the position. So again, I knew I wanted to be a dean. It was just a function of where and did everything work out? Did the stars align?
Right.
Because when you interview as a dean, often there's other finalists that come to
Hmm.
campus as well. So even if you make it to that campus visit, which is usually like a day and a half long, you
Mm.
could be competing against
Still,
4
yeah.
other people. Yes.
Yeah. So before you knew you wanted to do, I guess you said knew you wanted to do education. What
Yeah.
was your like second choice to being a dean? Like, where did you have, or did you always know that's what it was and that's what you set on? And
Yeah, so I never knew I was going to get into administration. I was
mm,
just, I was a professor. I love teaching. I love
mm,
doing my research. I just really, really liked that. And then just the new changes and the new opportunities. And so once moved into that first associate dean role, I was like, this is great, right? And I did that for 5 years, and I made a lot of changes. And again, it was always about the student experience.
yeah.
And so I think becoming a dean, it's like I wanted to have not the power and the control to make the changes that I wanted to make,
Hmm.
and having the strategic lens over the college. As an associate dean, while I still had a lot of the folks still reporting to me, I didn't have that the authority to say this is how we're going to do our strategic plan,
Hmm.
right? This is what I think it should look like.
Yeah, I love that collaboration because I think like I say often like, oh, I want to be like ahead of my firm or whatever, but I definitely feel like so much more comfortable like working within parameters and working with other people, and like that's what I love about my athletics here is like, or even
Sure.
here, just our team is so much collaboration, and we're so new, but everything that we come together so good. And
Yes,
Wayne, even
yeah.
being our director, is just not like it's not about power, and he's so easy to come to. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm just still fangirling.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just was came in and they were just like how awesome you were, and I like had so many questions. So I guess like from me, I stay busy, and how much did you notice that like being a female like in administrative spaces and in big spaces like matter to you? Like or how like
Uh,
much of that weight do you carry on your shoulders? Because like I feel like I feel it in athletics. I have a great team and I work among it, but I don't see people like me doing the things that I want to
you
do.
do, yes. I mean, I don't let it bother me,
Mm-hmm.
and I've actually started reading this book called The 12 Rules of Life. I'm only through chapter 1, which is like rule 1, and it used this analogy about lobsters and how, there's the lobsters, there's the dominant male lobsters, and these are the lobsters that the females want to mate with, and it's just this whole life under the ocean. And chapter 1 is like stand up straight with your shoulders back, right? And it's just this idea about being confident
Mm-hmm.
and showing confidence. And so I think even if you don't feel confident, acting that way, right? Dressing a certain way, just so, right? I tend to wear blazers,
Mm-hmm.
having the firm handshake, looking people in the eye. So just acting confident is going to give folks that sense you're kind of coming off that way.
I
And so,
try.
yes, and I feel like it's never something directly that somebody has done, but it would be more like feedback or anonymous comments where you can be like, hey, would they have said that if it was a male in the
Mm-hmm.
position? Probably not.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I mean, I here I don't hear it at all. I mean,
Yeah.
we have such a good team here, and I'm like so gracious for the opportunity. But I mean, when I just like look up at like NHL. I mean, you see some of the sports reporters. I mean, that get to go down at halftime, all kind of like look the same. But I mean, I wanted to get into like nitty gritty, like so it was really nice. I was excited to talk to you about that because I was like wanted a little bit more guidance on that myself. Um, but yeah, that's I don't know. That's just like really
Yes.
reassuring to hear. I guess my last question going into like the administration bit is, do you see yourself in administration? Like I know you like stayed in accounting through your undergrad and your
Yeah.
master's, but like is administration like have you found your home there and that's like the position we stay, or like can you go even higher? Like what are
Yeah.
your what do you see for your
Yeah.
future?
Yeah. I mean, I think next steps is, at some point, I don't know if I'll be at the University of Idaho forever, but,
Mhm.
next step would be to become a provost. That would be in terms of the next level. And so provost roles is more internally focused. And then another opportunity, so usually you would become a dean and then maybe another deanship and then maybe become a provost and then become a president.
Wow.
And so
I
that's,
didn't even know there was like that many
yes,
more
that kind of the way
steps.
it goes. I definitely like the external piece of being a dean, and I think that's something new that I hadn't done in my associate dean roles or
Mhm.
as a professor.
How much more is your workload from associate dean to dean?
So I would say it's not that much more. I just now I don't teach,
Okay.
and research is not like a huge priority. I'm also I travel a lot, so I go
Okay.
to Boise. I was in Washington, so I think traveling a lot as well. It's more external engagement
So
pieces.
you're not sitting down so much at a desk as it.
No, like when I'm on campus, I'm usually in meetings, running around,
Mhm.
and then traveling with my director of development. And then I think the weekends is where I spend the time at my desk, just kind of getting caught up and doing those types of things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How much traveling do you like? What's the craziest place you've been to for
Um,
Idaho, or even I guess even ever just with your work?
so I got to go to a conference in Barcelona, the AACSB Dean's Conference. So that was really fun.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
did
Wow.
that. We have an energy executive course, executive education program, and they have had their meetings out. And this year we were in DC, and they've also had it in Cary, North Carolina. So that's been fun as well.
Oh
But usually the
wow.
travel's more like Seattle, Oregon, Boise,
Okay, yeah.
California. We've got some donors in California, so I'd love to go there in the winter.
I bet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's much more. My roommate was just in Sacramento for horse polo, so really funny. But
Mhm.
I guess that's kind of close on our time. But I wanted to just say like a huge thank you
Thank
again
you.
to you. Do you have any last words, just like for your
Yeah.
college business students, for people maybe watching, like people looking at business, wanting to get in the roles? Like you gave us great insight, but do you have any, like,
Yeah.
is there like a mantra or a motto that you
Yeah.
maybe?
I would say you never get that old commercial, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And so when you are applying to a position, make sure your resume is perfect, right? That's something that I can't, what's the word, elaborate on more.
Yeah,
And
stress
be
enough. Yeah.
stressed, yes, and just know that there are people here on campus to look at your
Yeah,
resume.
I get those emails all the time
Yes.
to go to those workshops and stuff.
And so
So
that
I
would
guess
be
before we end, we did have one to extend our thank you. We got a jersey for you.
awesome. Thank
These are our new
you.
ones for this year. I don't know if you saw when you came in. We have them hanging.
Oh,
We design
beautiful.
them every year.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
Awesome.
one's from our esports. But yes, I just want to like again thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for
Thank
being
you.
on. This was Lisa, guys. So if you have any questions, you know where to find her, Dean of College of Business and Economics. Take that advice as you will. I mean, I'm taking it super close to heart, but you see how well it does for Lisa and how far she's made it, and just I don't think she's leading us astray. So, up next we have our round one of playoffs for our Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, which is really exciting. This is our first time. We're playing the University of Kentucky. But I just want to wish them good luck again. Thank you so much for
Yes.
coming on. It was a pleasure. And I'm going to throw it to our commentators.